news. This is breaking news.
We begin with breaking news. A Madison man is charged with neglecting a child after a 6-year-old boy shot himself in the head. According to online court records, Zahiri Powell appeared in Dane County Court today. He is charged with neglecting a child. His bond was set at $7,000. If released, he is not allowed to have any type of dangerous weapon. The boy is still in critical condition after the shooting. That shooting happened inside an apartment Monday morning on the 100 block of Milky Way. A preliminary hearing for Powell has been scheduled for June 4th.